Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic Puzzle Quest video. In this video, I'm going to be going over my standard Spellslinger deck around Fiery Emancipation. So, when I made my Ball Lightning Fiery Emancipation video, I promised that I'd be making a spell version of Fiery Emancipation deck too. So, this is what that is. Now, you'll notice that I don't have my face cam active in this. Until I get things sorted out here in our new place, I won't be able to get the face cam going. It's just I don't have a designated recording space at the moment, and so until I've got that up, I won't have the face cam up. So, anyways, let's get into the meat of this Fiery Emancipation. So, Fiery Emancipation is a support enchantment, and we've already gone over the creature bit, but if you are unfamiliar with the card, when a red creature you control deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, deal X damage to your opponent's planeswalker. X is 3 times that creature's power. So basically, your creature's going to be doing 4 times damage, right? It's regular damage and then 3 more, and then another 3 times that damage. So it's pretty strong. And then for the spell portion of it, it says when you cast a red spell, deal damage to your opponent's planeswalker equal to that spell's base mana cost. Now, the Ball Lightning deck that I was running did 120 damage to the face just for running it. And so I found a standard way of doing 120 damage to the face by using just spells. And so that just spells is by using Inspired Ultimatum. Now, when you see the rest of this deck, Inspired Ultimatum is actually the only spell in my deck. So this is a 20 mana spell, which means that it's going to do 20 damage to the face when you cast it because of Fiery Emancipation. And then it's also going to do an additional 10 damage to any opposing target, gain 10 life, draw 5 cards. Now, the really important piece about this is that as soon as you cast it, if you're using Jaya, which is who I'm using, then before you draw the 5 cards and do the damage and all that stuff, you're going to get all of your other copies of it. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about now, Jaya is amazing for spells. Jaya may even be an S tier planeswalker right now just because of all of the crazy red cards and red spell nastiness that currently exists in standard. But that's another time. So Jaya's third ability, Major Professional Destruction, says when you cast a non-copy spell, copy the first 2 spells from your library and give them full mana. So in this particular deck, if I cast my Inspired Ultimatum, which is the only spell in my deck, then I'm going to immediately get 2 more Inspired Ultimatums from my deck and give them full mana, which means that Inspired Ultimatum, which is doing 30 damage a cast, if you just cast 1 Inspired Ultimatum, boom, you're doing automatically 90 damage. Now, if you'll remember from a minute ago, I actually said that this is a 120 damage combo. Well, it is. It's just it requires a third card, and that third card is Double Vision. So Double Vision says, while on the board, copy the first red spell you cast each turn, and that card gains full mana. Which means now, once we get our third ability down with Jaya, and we cast our Inspired Ultimatum, we're actually going to be getting 4 Inspired Ultimatums for 1. Each of those Inspired Ultimatums are going to be doing an additional 20 damage, which means that we're doing 30 damage times 4 for 120 damage to the face, which is basically an auto kill on almost all planeswalkers in standard. The rest of the cards in the deck are largely non-essential. Actually, I think that instead of Kess in this deck, I was actually running the little otter thing with companion, so Lutri. And then, did I mix anything else around? I did. I didn't run Song of Creation in this either. I was running, I think Plaza of Harmony, right? So if you're wondering like what's the deck that I'm running in this video, this here should be the deck. Plaza. Yeah, okay, cool. So I think this is actually the deck exactly that I am running in the video. So let's just go ahead, roll straight into the gameplay so you guys can see this at work. And yeah, it's crazy, crazy strong. Alrighty, so here I'm matched up against Anissa, which is fine. She's got less than 120 health, which means that our combo, if we can get it off, is definitely going to one-shot her. Now, you'll see that I'm going to go ahead and prioritize getting my gem conversion down. Gem conversion is super, super key in this game if you want to be able to make sure that you're getting consistent matches. You'll actually see that this current battlefield doesn't have a lot of red in it, so I definitely want to try and get a little bit of red going because Fiery Emancipation does cost quite a bit of mana. Now, getting the Whirlwind of Thought is really nice there because we definitely want to try and get to Jaya's third pretty quickly, as her third ability is what's going to be the final combo piece. And then her first ability is actually pretty solid in that it fetches a spell from your library and gives the first spell in your hand 10 mana, which means that every time we use our first ability, it's going to be giving us half mana to our inspired Ultimatum. Now, even if I didn't have this one that I just drew, it would fetch me one, and it would give that one the mana. So either way, this is going to work itself out pretty nicely. Now, I was holding on to the Fiery Emancipation originally, just in case it was put in a bad place and started losing shields. I didn't want it to lose shields, but at this point, I figure I'm probably pretty close to getting my third ability with Jaya down. And then not only that, but I've got an Inspired Ultimatum in my hand, so maybe if I get a lucky Cascade or something, I'll be able to get everything rolling pretty quickly. So 14 loyalty means I just need one more loyalty. Jaya requires very little loyalty to get to her abilities, part of what makes her such an incredibly strong Planeswalker. So I've got my third available here for this next turn. I've got a beautiful red-blue matchup there on top. I just drew double vision, which means that I can go for the full combo here, which is exactly what I want to do. I'm obviously going to take that red-blue match up top. That's going to be a ton of mana. I think I've even got one of my Plaza gems or activated gems on there. So Tolsimir coming down means absolutely nothing. And so here, let's see, at the bottom I've got a red match, and it could cascade into the blue up top. So if I take that match, it's possible I can win straight away. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to ditch everything from my hand. It's going to take me a minute to decide that I actually want to get rid of my Pyromancer's goggles too, but I absolutely want to get rid of those goggles just to make sure that I can try and get the KO off this turn. So I'm going to use my third ability here. I'm going to hope for that Cascade, and I got it. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be game over. You're going to see 120 damage straight to Nissa's face. You'll see that the spell casts and I get all of my copies before I draw my cards, which is really nice. And that's it. That's really the end. Now, you can run a version of this deck or some other version of this deck however you want. But the real key is just that Fiery Emancipation plus Jaya does terrible things. So if you're trying to build around Fiery Emancipation, you haven't figured out a way, try it with Jaya. If you want to try a spell deck, it's nutty. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.